Here are 3 reasons why you're stuck in preoccupation or fear thoughts. So many people with neuroplastic pain or mind-body concerns tend to have brains that gravitate towards preoccupation and fear thoughts. Now, a lot of times, this is about our pain or about our symptom, where we're excessively thinking about it, we're trying to figure out our symptom and why it's here, we're trying every treatment possible, and we're having a lot of fear thoughts along the way. And I remember being like this, as I've said on this channel. I used to think about my symptoms and about my pain probably 80% of my day, sometimes maybe 90% even. And this prevents our recovery. But I think in general, people with neuroplastic pain tend to gravitate towards fear and preoccupation, just in life in general. And so even after I recovered, I would get preoccupied and have a lot of fear thoughts about school or about work or about relationships or any situation in my life that had a little bit of danger to it. And so it's really important for us to identify why this is happening. And so here's the 3 reasons why I see people constantly being dragged back towards preoccupation and fear thoughts. So number 1, preoccupation and fear thoughts becomes a familiar state in your brain. This makes sense. Our brain moves towards what's familiar. And so if we have brains that tend to be preoccupied all the time, or lost in fear thoughts, it's almost like our brain just drags us back towards what's familiar. And you think about this, we have neural pathways in our brain associated with all the fear thoughts we've had, about everything we've gotten preoccupied about, whether it's our pain or something else. And so one of the reasons that I see people struggle breaking this is it takes consistent practice in starting to break this chain. And naturally, your brain's going to move you towards that again. Now, over the years, I've gotten better at catching myself quicker when I'm getting lost in preoccupation or fear thoughts. And as a result, I can give myself a message of safety, remind myself it'll probably be okay either way, and then move forward in my life and try and shift away from whatever I'm preoccupied about or fearful about. But this is the first reason that I see this happen. And it's one of the reasons why we need consistent practice in, catching our fear thoughts and catching when we're in preoccupation, recognizing that we're there, and then starting to replace by moving towards safety. Now, the second reason that I see people get lost in preoccupation and fear thoughts is our brain almost starts to believe that it can think its way out or worry its way out of feeling a certain way. And this makes sense, right? Our brains developed over thousands of years to have this amazing ability to think and worry and plan ahead and fear things, which is really useful for our survival. And so almost I see people get caught in a cycle where their brain is just preoccupied about their pain, for instance, and having all these fear thoughts, because it almost believes that if it just thinks about it a little bit more, it will be able to think its way out of feeling the way we're feeling. It will be able to think its way out of feeling anxious about our pain, and we're going to figure out the problem. Now, the problem is we get caught in this, right? And so it's almost reminding our brain, right? It's reappraising that, this isn't useful or helpful. Preoccupation or fear thoughts are rarely useful or helpful. And you're going to need to remind your brain of that. And that almost remind your brain that it's not going to be able to think its way out of feeling what it's feeling right now. And so be clear on that. We almost have to draw a really firm line with our brain and remind it like this isn't useful or helpful. Now, preoccupation or fear thoughts is never useful or helpful about our pain or symptoms, but it rarely is about any problem in life. Most problems in life, they're not rocket science. They're not going to take days upon days of mulling things over. Usually, we're not going to get any further 10 minutes in or 2 hours in. We're probably going to be at the same place. And so it's okay to have worries and try to problem solve, but just don't get lost in it. And the third reason why I see people get caught in preoccupation and fear thoughts is it almost serves as a defense mechanism where it defends us from feeling our emotions. Now, many researchers have come to understand this and theorized about this, and I think there's a lot of truth to it. For myself, sometimes I would rather be in my head, lost in excessively thinking about something, or be lost in terrifying fear thoughts than actually feel what I'm feeling in my body. It distracts from us, from our emotional state. Now, the solution here is we actually need to practice sinking into our body and feeling our emotions and connecting with our body and the sensations that are there. Now, my video that I'll put out in the future, probably in the next few days here, is going to be on how we can connect to our body and be with our body and attend to the sensations there. Because this is important. If we don't learn to do that and we just stay in our head constantly, right, we're never going to resolve anything. We're just going to be always on this hamster wheel of being lost and believing everything that we're thinking, where it might just be a defense mechanism from you actually feeling your emotions underneath. So I hope this video was helpful in reviewing the 3 reasons why I see preoccupation and fear thoughts become constant for people, and why we can struggle so much to get out of it. And this is the first step. First, identifying why our brain is doing this, right? And what it means can help us come up with a solution. Now, I did a video in the past as well on preoccupation and the 3R skill, so I'll link that to the top here so that you can check that out as well. So please put your questions or comments down below, hit the like button, and subscribe to my channel, as I'm going to release videos every week talking about neuroplastic pain and mind-body concerns. Take care.